Thunder practice facility. Barry Tramel along with Darnell Mayberry. Day 2 of the Thunder's official workouts here in Oklahoma City. Darnell, practice just breaking up. 2 days into this, what have we learned so far?
Not much. I think PJ, the players are doing most of the learning. PJ is doing a lot of teaching throughout these 2.5 hour practices. He's sort of getting in things that they're going to be doing, just sort of the monotonous things that they're going to be doing during game situations, free throws, fast break drills, that sort of thing. So that's more what's going on right now. I think as the days progress, we're going to see more practices, and we're going to start flushing out who's going to be actually playing.
It's always ugly at first. The effort's really good, and people have a lot of enthusiasm, but it's not very smooth, and that's kind of the way it always is. It's probably like that for about every team in the league. But I think, guys are listening, guys are trying hard, and we'll get better quickly.
And PJ was saying you and some of the other veterans played for 4 coaches in 4 years. This is the first time you've had a year 2 in a while. How much advantage is that for you guys that have been here for a while, that you don't have new systems, new plays, new all that?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. We still have to explain a lot, but not near as much as last year. Last year it took us probably 2 months to really figure out what we're trying to do because everything was new. We had a lot of new players. This year we still got some new faces, but it's not quite as much. But the system and the fundamentals, the overall idea of how we want to play is already there.
And the talk of you playing some center again this year, which that's what you are, 7'6". So that's what you are, right?
I don't care.
What about the center part? It's obviously some disadvantages at times, but there can be some advantages. How did you feel that you had to play a little more center than you probably like?
I like it because it gets me on the floor. If I'm splitting time with Chris at 4, it leaves 24 minutes or less. So if I get some time at the 5, it's good for me. And the NBA nowadays, a lot of times you don't end up guarding post-ups that much anymore. The league's gone a little bit smaller. I think 4s and 5s probably guard more pick and rolls than they do post-ups, so I think it can be an advantage.
You got a lot of 4s on this team. You got to find minutes for them some way, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I've been playing 5 since my rookie year, so I don't have a problem with it.
Here's something I learned today, and maybe I should have picked up on it when the Hornets were in town, but I'm a little bit charmed by the way NBA teams practice. They do some of the same things I did when I was in junior high. They run some of the slow motion drills and walk through plays, and then at the end of practice they get in a huddle and everybody puts their hand in and say 1, 2, 3 Thunder. And in some ways the NBA is not any different than any other basketball.
I think there's a common misconception among fans about what the NBA is and how they operate. There's a lot of teaching that goes on at this level. And PJ, actually, I'm going to have a story in Sunday's paper. PJ is one of the biggest teachers at this level. So a lot of fundamentals are being taught, and people really don't think that happens at the NBA level, but it does.
Well, going to finish out the week of practice. Preseason games start a week from today. What should fans look for in the way of progression of this team in the next 4 or 5 days of practice?
I think the next couple of days we're going to start to see people separate themselves. You're going to start to see a lot more live stuff and more reports on who's actually excelling, who's separating themselves from the rest of the pack, especially the rookies. You're going to have updates on Russell Westbrook, DJ White, those guys, the training camp invitations that they made to John Lucas, Chris Alexander, and Derek Byers. I think you're going to hear reports on those guys. So I think the competition is going to pick up in the next 4 or 5 days.
Visitors to practice today included Terrence Crawford, an old OSU teammate of John Lucas, and Glenn Cyprian, who was an assistant on those teams coached by Eddie Sutton. That'll do it for now. Stay tuned for more coverage on newsok.com and in tomorrow's Oklahoman.